Hello, and welcome to Find Your Inner Flow. My name is Faith with Real Life Wellness and the Love Your Real Life membership. And I am coming to you today for us to have an experience. Find your inner flow. We're going to connect with, we're going to go through a meditation and a reflection. I'm so glad you're here and watching. Our focus today is on this simple question: where is my attention? Where is my attention focused? The poet Andrea Gibson wrote many wonderful and beautiful things. Something I read recently was on this very concept. And they say, in any moment, on any given day, I can measure my wellness by this question: is my attention on loving, or is my attention on who isn't loving me? Think about that for a moment. Is my attention on loving, or is my attention on who isn't loving me? And I think we can broaden that question even more. Is my attention on what's working or what's missing? Is my attention on what I can control or what I can't? Is my attention on the life I'm creating or the life that I wish I had? Our attention is one of the most powerful things that we have. What we're noticing, what we're focusing on, what we're paying attention to, that is where energy follows. That is where energy goes, where we're putting our focus. If we are going to notice how many people have said mean things to us or hurtful things to us, and that is our focus, we're going to notice more of that. But if we are focusing on who is in my corner, who is supportive of me, we're going to see more of that. Now, our brains are kind of wired with this negative bias where we're kind of, because of survival, we're seeking those things out. We are seeking out the things that could hurt us, right? And so it is a practice. It is a different way of approaching it to think about it this way, to shift that focus from what is not right in my life to what is right in my life. And so let's place one hand on our heart, one hand on our belly. Let's just do a couple rounds of breath to just center ourselves, connect. So breathing in through your nose, really feeling that belly and then chest rise. And then exhale through your mouth, letting those shoulders relax. Taking another breath in through your nose. And exhaling through your mouth. And let's do that again. Inhaling through our nose. Filling our bellies and our lungs. And then exhale through your mouth, releasing any tension. Keeping those eyes closed or having a soft gaze, I want us all just to bring this to mind. What has been taking up the most of my mental space lately? Is it those ruminating thoughts about what you should have said differently or what somebody said about you or to you? Is your mental space cluttered with what didn't go right, what you wish was different, what should be happening, what shouldn't be happening? Has your attention been bringing you peace or pulling you away from it? Is there something you've been giving far more energy than it deserves? What's been living rent-free in your head? There's lots of examples of this, but if you've done, let's say you've put something out there, right? Your work, and you have 20 people respond, and 18 say something positive, and 2 say something negative. Typically, our human brain wants to focus on those 2 negative comments versus the 18 positive ones. There's lots of versions of this in our lives, but it's worth thinking about and shifting. What deserves more of your attention instead? Now, I think feedback is great. We can use feedback to help us improve or give us another way to think about it. But when we focus in and hone in on the negativity instead of the amazing things that are going on around us, that is where we can not be living the life that we love. We're not loving our real life, because if we're so focused on that negative energy, we don't have room for positive to come in. So this isn't about eliminating stress or eliminating negative things at all. I mean, this is life. That's part of life. But it's about being intentional about where you're putting your attention and what you're noticing. It's being able to see that negative comment, taking in just a breath in and out. I hear that. And letting it kind of just flutter on by. And it's not going to come natural at first, but it's worth noticing and it's worth giving your attention to. Because we can learn, just like we've learned to hone in on the negativity, we can also learn to redirect our attention. Every day our minds are scanning for problems, for disappointment, for unfinished to-do lists, ignoring the things that we have checked off, but focusing on those things that are not done. We're scanning for problems in our relationships, for mistakes we've made, what should be happening. But what if with today we practiced a new way? We intentionally noticed something different. Maybe our attention today lands on the people who do love us. Taking a moment to notice the progress that we've made. The body that we have that has carried us through physically and mentally and emotionally, carried us through so many things. Maybe we put our attention on a small step forward we can take, a moment of peace that we have created. One thing, one specific thing that we're grateful for in the last 24 hours. What we repeatedly pay attention to begins to shape our experience and our lives. It's what we're noticing and what we're paying attention to is the energy that we are creating for our everyday life. So you may be asking, like, okay, how do I do this? How do I make this happen? And I will tell you, there's not a magic button or pill that will make this happen. It does require work and it requires consistency. But what is on the other side of that is loving your life, being happy, being joyful, looking forward to things. And so we're going to do a little activity here. And then I want to share something that I do that I've done now for 9 years, most every morning. So let's first do a little activity. So go ahead, open your eyes if they're still closed, and grab your notebook or piece of paper. And I want you to divide that piece of paper into and down the middle. So just draw a line dividing your page into 2 columns. And on the left side, I want you to write out what has been consuming my attention. And on the right side, what deserves my attention? So we have what's been consuming my attention, what deserves more of my attention. And I want you just to start writing what comes up. So what's been consuming my attention is, what are the things that I've been thinking about, ruminating about, those things that come up when you're trying to sleep, the conversations, the thoughts. So that can be things you're worrying about, maybe comparing yourself to somebody else. Maybe it's that kind of like what I shared before, those 2 negative comments versus the 18 positive ones. Maybe it's somebody else's opinion of what you should be doing. Maybe it's a mistake that you made. Maybe it's stress about the future and what's coming. Maybe it's limitations. What has been consuming my attention? You can be as specific as feels right. Sometimes it can be really helpful to have very specific examples when we're doing an activity like this. Okay, so let's move over to what deserves more of my attention. And feel free to continue to write on the left side if other things come up. But let's think about what deserves more of my attention. So maybe it's those 18 nice things someone said or people said instead of the 2 not nice ones. My values. Noticing and being aware of what your values are is such a helpful thing to do for ourselves. There's something that I do within my membership and with my clients. It's a values assessment. And it's very, very helpful. When you know what your values are, you know how to have a kind of guidance, a compass of when you're making decisions, does it fit within my values. It makes things easier to say yes or no to. What else deserves your attention? Your healing. Your healing. And what you're doing in your life, is it bringing that healing, or is it making it farther away from you? How about the relationships that give you life? The relationships that are supportive, the people in your life that are there for you. What deserves more of your attention? How about your strengths? How about a small step forward? Moments of joy, gratitude, and I mean the real kind of gratitude. And I'm going to talk about that in a second when I share a practice that helps support this very thing. Because there's a difference between gratitude that actually is supportive and gratitude that is laced with guilt and shame. So we want to stick with the gratitude that's supportive. How about the things that you're looking forward to? So then ask yourself, with these two columns you have, which column feels more aligned with the life you want to create? Now, I'm guessing that the answer to that for most of us is going to be the life we want to create is based on the things on the right side of the paper. So I want to share a practice that is helpful for me in doing this. Now, we're not striving for perfection here. I'm not going to tell you that I do this perfectly. I definitely don't. There's still negativity that creeps in, but what I will say is having consistent practices that supports the focus and the attention being on things that we want more of is so helpful. And so the way I do this in my daily practice is through my morning journaling. And if you're not a journaler and you think that kind of sounds so silly, that's okay. But hear me out. I'm going to just share what I do, and I'm going to share what it's also done for me. Because I think what's so helpful is there's so many circumstances in our life. There's so many circumstances in this world of what is hard and things that are challenging, right? So we have all these things happening that are outside of our control. But when we find the things that we can be empowered to do and notice and shift for ourselves, that is where the outside noise can be quieted, because we are creating what we need for ourselves in our life. And so this practice is very simple. And again, like I said before, the consistency matters. And so this does not take me longer than 10 minutes to do. The first thing is I list things, and again, the key is specific things that I am grateful for in the last 24 hours. And so you can start with one if that feels like it's going to be taxing for you. If three feels hard, start with one. What is one specific thing that I'm grateful for that happened in the last 24 hours? And usually the things that really bring that warmth to you, that smile, are those small things, right? So it could be my cup of coffee, the first couple sips of the morning were really, really nice. It could be somebody made you dinner. Maybe it's your child or your grandchild gave you a really big hug. But be as specific as possible and let it be recent, something in the last 24 hours. Once you write it down, just bring that, maybe close your eyes and bring that specific thing back to mind. So you're imagining it in your mind's eye. And then the next thing is, what is, again, if starting with one specific thing that I did well in the last 24 hours. And sometimes this is the hardest for people. And again, it doesn't have to be big. It's not like I, solved, world peace or something. It's usually these small things. I completed this project. I showed up for my kids. I got this thing done. Whatever it is, it can be small, but it needs to be specific. Sometimes it's I just got through the day without screaming. And then the third thing is, what am I looking forward to? Writing something down. And if you don't have anything you're looking forward to, that is your key to yourself to create something. Call somebody, text somebody, get something on the calendar that you are looking forward to. This practice, again, like I said, takes no longer than 10 minutes. But what it does is exactly what we're saying here. Where is my attention going? And we know our natural human response is to scan for those problems. This practice brings consistency and it brings a shift. And I'm not going to say you're going to have this big shift. You do it one time. It is the consistency that matters. So making this a habit each morning. Specific things that I'm grateful for in the last 24 hours, specific things that I did well in the last 24 hours, and then what am I looking forward to? Again, you don't have to change your whole life. You don't have to change everything that you do, but making these small changes about noticing where your attention is going, shifting it, like practices like I just shared, that's the way to it. That's the way to be living the life you love, to love your real life. Every time you gently redirect towards what nourishes you, what aligns with your values, what brings you peace, you are strengthening a new pathway. This is your inner flow. Not being perfect, not pretending hard things don't exist, but simply choosing again and again where your energy belongs. So I invite you in to share in my daily practice. See how it feels. Do it for the next week. We do lots of things like this in the Love Your Real Life membership. If you're not already a part of it, you'll find some more information in the description on how to try it out. When we do these types of activities for ourselves, we are creating those new pathways that help us live a life we're not always wanting to take a break from. We're living a life that feels aligned, that we love. So I hope that this resonated with you, that you found something that you can take from here and use right now. All right. Thanks so much for being here and listening. Have a great day.